Okay, so now we need to hatch our gaskets so that they're highlighted. We need to hatch using certain types of hatching so that everything looks the way it should. Now, I've got a hatch layer. Always put your hatching on a separate layer. That way you can freeze it, thaw it, and switch it on and off when you need to for clarity on your drawing. So let's go to the hatch command, 2D drafting and annotation workspace, home tab on the ribbon, draw panel, and there's hatch there. Now in AutoCAD 2011, you get a new tab now on the ribbon, and you get all these icons here. Any version of AutoCAD previous to AutoCAD 2011, and you'll get a dialog box. Okay, we need to pick our hatch pattern first. So we go to the pattern panel here, click on the little fly out there, and I want this one here. I'm going to go for ANSI 31. It's just a default American National Standards hatch. So that's selected. If I hover here now, it highlights where I'm going to hatch. Can you see that? And you'll notice what's really nice is it takes the hatch around the text. It doesn't hatch over the text. Now what we need to do is there are certain settings that we need to sort out first. Let's go to options here and click on the fly out there, outer island detection, and click on the down arrow there, and you want outer island detection. You only want the outer island. You don't want the inner circles selected, for example, on your nuts and bolts. So you want that one there, outer island detection. When you hover over that, you can see it's only going to the first boundary for hatching each time. The boundary being the internal objects inside the gasket. Now, the hatching there is a bit dense, as you can see. We can't see our angled lines hatching that very well. So we need to change our hatch scale value here. So I'm going to double click in there, and I'm going to try 25. This sometimes can be a bit trial and error. It's a little bit of a black art hatching, but if I hover now, that's a little bit too big. So what you do, you double click there, maybe try 10, for example. And this is the benefit of this new highlight tool in AutoCAD 2011. If I hover, it highlights it. 10's still a little bit big. Let's go for 5. Let's try 5. That's absolutely perfect. Look at that. Exactly what we need. So now you'll notice, see the crosshair there? It says pick internal point. So I'm hovering inside a boundary, and AutoCAD is going to hatch inside that boundary, which is the outer edge of our gasket, and it's picking up the boundaries inside to stop the hatching at. So if I left click there, that places my hatch like so. If I hover over here, it places the hatch again like so, and I just right click to confirm those and then go to enter, and the hatch is done, as you can see. But the really nice thing about it is it's hatched around the text there. Now you'll notice, can you see that? Look, when I hover over the hatch there, they're both one object. I need them to be separate objects. So I hover over them, double click, and that goes into Hatch Editor now, you'll notice. I've got properties there as well. I don't need the properties. I can close that. But what I do need to do is create separate hatches. So how do I do that? Well, let's go to options here. Separate hatches. Come into the drawing now. 1 hatch, 2 hatch. Separate hatches for each gasket. Now, one more hatch command to do. Again, hatch here. This time on the hatch pattern, I want solid fill. That one there. And I'm going to highlight the nuts and bolts. Now, be careful when you do this. Make sure in your options there, you create separate hatches for this one. Okay. Now, you just want to get your crosshair just inside. See when it highlights? That's how you want it to do it, like that. So as soon as it highlights, it might tell you that you've clicked on an object. Just close that. Just put the crosshair in again. There we go. And you want to highlight each of those like that to show the nut and bolt sitting on top of the gasket like that. So it takes a few seconds, a little bit of mouse control. You might want to zoom in a bit more as well. And as you come in, can you see every time I highlight something, I want that one there. Once I'm done, right click, enter on the shortcut menu, job done. There's our 2 gaskets drawn and hatched with text telling us gasket 1 and gasket 2. They look very, very cool now. It's very quick and easy to do this, as you can see in AutoCAD 2011.